In this video, we are going to compare the Sbm Classic Interface that has always been part of Sbm with the newer Workcenter userface that is used with newer versions of Sbm. Sbm 10.1.3 was the first version that included the new Workcenter user interface. After that, every release of Sbm has included improvements to Workcenter, but it also included the classic user interface that everyone was used to using. Sbm 11.4.2 was the last version to include both the classic interface and the Workcenter interface. Of course, to get the latest security fixes, to support newer databases, operating systems, and browsers, the Sbm administrator needs to keep upgrading Sbm. This means even if you have not started using Workcenter yet, you will need to switch to using Workcenter very soon. You will notice that the Workcenter design uses a different layout and different colors, but all of your favorite features are still available, as well as many new features. In this demo, I'm going to do a comparison of Sbm Classic and Sbm Workcenter so you can see the differences. We will also touch on a few of the new features. This is the Sbm Classic interface that you are used to working in every day. To get to the Workcenter interface, we will copy this URL, put it in a new tab, and then we will change the last part of the URL to say Workcenter and hit enter. This will log us into the Workcenter interface. Let's start our comparison by looking at the top navigation in Classic. Looking at the Classic interface, we can see the original design. With this design, you could click the More button at the top to select any applications that you needed to access. You could also reorder the applications from the user settings screen. Let's switch over to the new Workcenter design. In the new Workcenter, there is an arrow in the top. When you click on this, you can see all the applications that are available to you. From here, you can click and unclick the star, and this will add the application to the top bar. You can also drag and drop the applications to change their order. Next, let's talk about how to submit new items. In the Classic interface, to submit a new item, you would select the application at the top, make sure you are in the Submit section, and then click the Submit link. If there was more than one project, you would drill in to select that project. In the new Workcenter interface, to submit a new item, you would use the New button in the top right corner. When you click the New button, a small dialog box appears. From here, you can choose to browse, much as you did in the Classic view. From here, you can browse your applications and drill in if there is more than one project to select the project that you want. After you have submitted at least one item in a project, that project will be available in the Recent list. Also, from the recent list, you can select the plus icon, and this will add that project to your favorites list. Let's try it. On our recent list, we have Image Builder. Let's click the plus, and now when we go to favorites, we will see Image Builder in our list of favorites. Over time, you will get a list of recent projects and a list of favorite projects that you submit into a lot. Let's take a look at the actual submit form itself, starting in Classic interface. Let's choose to submit into the Image Builder project. Notice that the submit form opens inside the right section of Sbm. We can see our OK and Cancel buttons at the top. We have different sections, and we can see the field labels and the fields themselves. Let's create a test item. And we'll click OK to save. Once the item has been saved, we have our state form. You will see we have all of our different transition buttons on top. And again, we have our sections with our fields and the data all displaying. We also have our tabs in the bottom. Of course, your form may look different based on your company's design. Let's submit to the same project using the Workcenter interface. We will use the Browse option to go down to the same image builder project. Notice now the Submit form opens using the entire space of the browser. This allows us to see more fields on the screen without scrolling. You will also notice we have the same OK and Cancel buttons at the top. We have our sections and all of our field labels and fields. Overall, the form is exactly the same. I think the only difference might be the color of the OK and Cancel button. But other than that, the forms are the same. Let's submit a test item here as well. And we'll click OK. Notice, just like in Classic View, when we were finished with the submit, we have the item state form. We have all of our buttons across the top for each of our transitions, and we have all the field data below with our tabs and other information. You will also notice, because the form takes over the whole entire browser space, we have more information visible to us at the bottom. Let's close this form and take a look at some more changes. In the top right corner of Workcenter, you will notice a small bell button. This is your notifications. In older versions of SBM, you would get notifications in your email client only. In new versions, you will still get the notifications in your email client, but you will also be able to access those notifications from this button. Currently, I have one unread notification. If we click the button, we will see our notification, and I can select the notification to read it. Here's my notification. I can mark it as read. I can also open it to see more details about the item for which this notification was generated. Let's close out of here. Also at the top, you will notice the Quick Links button. This will give you access to the same quick links that you use in Classic View today. If you click this button, it will give a small pop-up with any quick links that you have set up. In this example, I have a quick link that runs a listing report. This is very similar to the list that is available to you in Classic View under Favorites and Quick Links. Next, we will look at the search feature, starting with the Classic View. From the Classic Interface, you can use the search option on the left side, and this will allow you to search by keywords for any items inside the project that is currently selected. You can also use the Advanced Search option to filter the results by different fields and options. I want to point out one big difference in Classic. Notice at the top we have the IDM application selected. When I search for any keywords, this will only be searching within this application and within the projects that I have selected. To demonstrate this, let's search for the word allow. Notice that 4 items are returned. One is in the top level project, and then there are additional ones at the sub-projects. But all of them are within this single application. Now for the Workcenter View. In Workcenter View, you will notice we have this All button at the top. When you have the All option selected and you click the Search button on the right, the system will search across all of the applications that you have access to, and it will search using the keywords that you enter in the search box. This will also search for any file attachments. If the keyword appears within a file that is attached to an item, that item will also be returned. Notice if we search for the same word, allow, here, it will return many more options than the Classic View did. By looking at the results, we can see the project where these items were found. We can also use the filter options on the left to narrow down the list. This is a little like the advanced search in Classic. Notice there are several fields which we can use for filtering the list. The filter options and the layout of your results can be customized by your administrator, so your system may look slightly different. If you want to do a search within only a specific application, you can select that application at the top. Now when we open the search box, it will search only within that application. Let's search for allow again. Notice we now get the same 4 results that we got in the Classic View. I should also note that your SBM administrator may choose to hide the All button. If it is missing for you, you can check with your SBM administrator. The last thing I wanted to show you on the top is the Settings menu. In the Classic Interface, you could access your user settings by clicking on your name in the top right corner. There are tabs across the top to give you access to different settings. Also available at the top are the Log Out, Help, and About buttons. This looks slightly different in Workcenter. In Workcenter, there will be a button in the top with your first initial. This gives you access to your user settings, your Log Out and Help and About, as well as a few other options based on your security level. If we look at the settings, you will notice most of the settings are exactly the same that you had in Classic, but the options are now on the left instead of having tabs across the top. You may also notice you now have a search option at the bottom. This will allow you to customize your search results screen. Another fun option is in the general settings. In here, you can choose to select a file from your computer, and this will become your avatar within the system. It will show all throughout the system wherever your user is selected. It will also show in your top right corner for your user button. Next, let's close out the settings and take a look at the left navigation. In Classic, there is a small arrow which allows you to expand and collapse the left navigation. There is also a splitter bar where you can make that wider or smaller. In the Workcenter interface, we have the same thing. We have the arrow where you can expand and collapse the left, and there's also a splitter bar to make it wider or more narrow. Let's move on and look at dashboards next. You can think of dashboards a little bit like your home screen. If we look at the Classic interface again, you can select your Home button, and this will show the home page for the selected application. In this application, you will see that my home page is a report that lists all items. If we look at the other applications, we may see different home pages. Notice in this application, I have a dashboard report set up. This is nice because the dashboard report allows us to see several reports on one page. This is the same idea that we have in the Workcenter My Dashboard view. Let's look at the Workcenter My Dashboard. Each application has its own My Dashboard view, and this view can be configured specific for each application. You can also have any number of dashboards in your Workcenter view. Where the Classic View only gives you one home page per application, the Workcenter interface will give you many. The SBM administrator will usually set up the My Dashboard view for you, but you can also customize it or create your own dashboard to fit your needs better. Be sure to take a look at our other videos about how to create and customize dashboards. I don't want to forget to talk about the All section again. The All section also has a My Dashboard view, which allows you to create a dashboard that contains information about all the different applications, all within a single view. Next, let's skip down and look at reports, first over in the Classic Interface. In the Classic Interface, when you wanted to run a report, you would select Report on the left side, then search for the report. Once you found the report you want to see, you could select the report to run it, and the results would display on the right side of the browser. Let's look in the Workcenter interface. In the Workcenter interface, I can select my application on the top and select Reports on the left, and I will see a list of all my available reports. Notice the special reports are available to you by selecting the categories at the top. You can also use the search box or the filter options to narrow down the list of reports to find the one you want to run. Once you find the report you want to run, you can select the report. Notice the results are displayed across the entire browser section. This allows you to see more data without scrolling. The colors look a little different in Workcenter View, but you still have all the same available actions and other options on your reports. If we close this out, we can also take a look again at the All section. In this section, you can also select reports, and you will get a list of all the reports in the system. This allows you to run any report without knowing exactly which application or project was used to create the report. Again, you can narrow down the list by selecting the filters on the left or using the search box at the top. Starting in the Classic View, let's take a look at what it looks like to create a new report. Here we would select the Report section on the left, and then we would select Create Report to start the report wizard. Here we would select which type of report we wanted, which would open our screen to build our report parameters. We can select our columns that we want to display. We can build the search filter, and we can set our sorting and other options. In the top right corner, we can select to save or preview our report as we go. The Workcenter interface is very similar. First, we would select our application and select the report section and choose Create Report in the top corner. This will give us the list of all of the available report types, which we can select from. After selecting our report type, the wizard will allow us to choose the columns to display. We can set our search filter, as well as our sorting and other options. This time, the Next and Preview buttons are on the bottom of the screen, but they work the same as they did in Classic View. Let's cancel out of here. If there are reports that you run a lot, you can choose to select the Star button. This star will make the report a favorite, and it will be displayed on the left side. Let's use our splitter to make this wider. After the report is listed on the left side, you can also drag and drop to reorder the reports. If you decide you do not need a report in your favorites anymore, you can select the star again to remove that report. There are also several other options in the star drop-down list. You can select to add this report to a folder or to your quick links. Just for fun, let's add this one to our quick links. And we will confirm yes. Now when we look at our quick link button, we will have this new report in our list. We could have also selected to add a report to our folder. If we select the folder, we would need to choose which folder and then click Save. Now this report is saved in our folder. This is a good chance to look at the folder view. The folder view is on the left side. Notice when we look in our folder view, we will now see the report that we just added. We could also use the Create Folder button to help organize all of our favorites into different folders. If your team has some shared folders that are set up, you will find them in the Shared with Me view. Let's jump back to the classic view and talk about calendars. The Calendar button is in the top right corner. When you click this button, you will get a special type of interactive calendar. In my system, this is set up to show the vacation days for my team. Your calendar may be set up to show other information. I say this is an interactive calendar because you can select the options on the left, and that will filter the options you see in your calendar on the right. This calendar view is also available in Workcenter. Let's switch over to Workcenter and we'll take a look at my time off application. If we look at the calendar, we will see the same interactive calendar where I can select and unselect the various options to get different views of my calendar. Just like with dashboards, we have the My Calendar view by default, which the Sbm administrator may have set up for you, or you can customize it yourself. Just like dashboards and reports, you can also star additional calendars and add them to your favorites on the left as well. Let's select Calendar. I have an additional calendar available to me. I might want to star this so I can see it on my left menu as well. I don't want to forget to mention the All view again. When we select the All view, we also have a calendar. This calendar view could display calendars from more than one application. This might give you a broader, more holistic view of everything that's happening in one calendar. That covers the basic comparison of Classic and Workcenter views. Next, I want to take a couple minutes to talk about the views that are new in Workcenter. Let's start with Activities. By default, the My Activities view will show you a list of everything you own. Your Sbm administrator could change this, but I will show you the default setup. I am in the All section, so this gives me a list of all the items I own in every application in the system. We are on the Application tab, so we can quickly filter down to see only items in a specific application by clicking on that application. For example, we might click on Incidents. Now the list is filtered to only incidents. The other tabs will allow us to filter down farther by different options. For example, if we look at Submitter, we could narrow down to all the items that were submitted by Chad. Now the filter in the bottom half will only list the items that match this filter. As with other views, you can add any number of activities to the left side. You just need to create them first and then mark them with the star to pin them on the left. Sbm has a built-in backlog functionality. I have a backlog view set up in my IDM project. If you work on a team that does agile development, this backlog view could be helpful for you. This view is designed for agile Scrum teams who use sprints to do their work. It allows the Scrum Master to organize and prioritize items in the backlog. All of the items in the backlog are listed in the bottom. Then the Scrum Master can drag and pull those items up to the top. The Scrum Master can also drag to reorganize the order of these items. I don't have story points set up in this example project, but you could add estimated and actual story points as well. As you work through your sprint, the progress screen will show you the burn down and burn up charts. These are generated automatically by SBM based on the information that is in each of the items. Let's switch over now to my incident management application and look at the Kanban boards. These are sometimes called a card wall. The Kanban board or card wall are typically used by agile development teams or by teams practicing lean development, but others may find this view helpful too. A Kanban board gives a visual representation of the work that needs to be done. The vertical swim lanes represent the workflow within SBM. Each item in the project is represented by a card. This gives a visual demonstration of how much work is done and how much work is in progress. You can quickly move items from one state to another by dragging your card to the next state. If there are required fields for that state, you will be prompted to select the data. After you have entered the data, you will notice the item has moved to the next state. It's very easy to move these cards around your card wall. Let's move a couple more just to show you. Let's say we want to move one now from in progress on. So let's grab that one and we'll drag it over. Let's pretend this one's finished. Okay, we can put in our summary and any other information we need to include. Click OK. Now that item is marked as resolved. You might notice this swim lane is allowing for more than one state. If I drag this card into this swim lane, I can choose which of those states I am going to move this card into. I might choose on hold. This time there was no required fields, so I was not prompted for any new information. You can quickly see details about any item by selecting the card. This will open a small detail window that will list several fields that have been selected when this Kanban board was set up. You can also select the actual item number, and that will open the full item with the full form so you can see all the details. As with other views, you can have multiple Kanban boards and you can pin as many as you need to the left-hand side. Okay, we have covered all the new features of Workcenter and compared those existing features with the Classic View. I hope you have enjoyed this demonstration.